Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
I just got three things to say. God bless our troops. God bless America. And gentlemen, start your engine!
Are you ready?
It's showtime, everybody! Showtime!
It's awesome!
Oh my God! Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm.
What's the procedure, everyone? What's the procedure?
Stay calm!
Welcome to the fucking show.
Welcome everyone to another episode of Magnificent. We are here with the three-time guest. Yeah, champ. With the three-time guest, Mr. Rob Percha. You saw him, or you listened to him in our first episode. Of course, it was chaotic. It was our first episode. What can you do?
Look at us now.
I know.
Look how far we've come.
I know. And then you saw him in the Valentine's Day special where he's getting lovey-dovey with his wife. And you guys won. I totally forgot. You guys won. Yeah, you guys won the game, and you guys will probably have to go against somebody else.
Hell yeah.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
So, but today, it is March, which means March Madness is in season.
Yeah.
So, as you can see, Rob is probably wearing the team that he thinks is going to go all the way. TCU.
They're going to win one round. They're going to win one round. Count it.
Have you made your bracket yet?
Yep. We actually went over this on Perch Points yesterday. I put that out. I didn't go through the full thing, but I did like my Elite Eight and some upsets. Man, there should be a good tournament. I know a lot of people are kind of upset that there isn't a big star, but man, I get excited for anything. I'll watch anything. Honest to God, I'll watch the fucking small school play on a small school probably tonight. Honestly, I don't even care about the first four playing games, but it's basketball, so I'll tune in to anything. Honestly.
So knowing that you're a big fan of the FAU Owls,
baby.
Owls Nation when it comes to Rob Percha.
Dude, I'm actually sad about that because I know you're going to ask me how far you think they're going to go. I don't think they're going to go that far, man. No, they got a bad placement. I believe they played the first round. I had them winning. But then they got to play some powerhouse, which here, let me pull it up so I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I want to pull mine up too.
Pull off this side. Yeah, so they play, literally, they beat Northwestern. They got to play against UConn.
Yeah, so it's...
Dude, what a bad draw.
Didn't you say that, because if FAU wins...
Yep.
Let's see. Hold on a second. I'm going to have to pause real quick. Hold on a second. Yes. So, like I was saying before, I got FAU beating Northwestern.
Yep, good shit. Big Ten's terrible.
Yeah, and then they go and play UConn.
Yep.
So
they got screwed. Bad draw.
Yeah. So I mean, UConn's just gonna wipe the floor with them. Whereas I remember on your guys' podcast, you guys were saying how North Carolina will be playing most likely in Charlotte.
For the first two rounds, they are literally at home.
Yeah, so automatically they're going to have a big home field advantage or home court advantage, or however you want to say it. So I think, they're going to go far on that one.
Which is bad for the local MSU. I'm not an MSU fan, but I know a lot of people are. And a lot of people have beating Mississippi State in the first round because Izzo's great as an underdog. I had Mississippi State winning again. I just don't respect the Big Ten. And they didn't even win 20 games, man. Like, honest to God, I think Michigan State 19-14 in a down year for the Big Ten, just not good. But even if Michigan State was to win with Izzo, they got to go against North Carolina in Charlotte the next round. Like, that's terrible luck, man. That's brutal.
So, who do you have going all the way?
I picked Arizona, which I've never picked Arizona, and I'm scared.
I got UConn.
Great players, dude. Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
To repeat.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. I mean, it's possible. The whole reason why I went with Arizona, though, I love Caleb Love, man. And he came from North Carolina. He transferred. I think he's such a good player. I mean, he's definitely an NBA player for sure. So I think I got some good players on that team. So I'm excited to see him hopefully do the damn thing. But my Final Four, I have Arizona. I got UConn, so I'm with you on UConn. I just have Arizona beating UConn to go to the finals or the championship game.
I forget who I got in the final two.
And my other two for the Final Four was Creighton a 3 seed and Kentucky a 3 seed. So got some threes in there.
So I got Purdue and UConn in the finals.
Whoa! Purdue's cursed.
I don't know.
Purdue has been knocked out in the first round like so much lately, dude. Especially after losing to and again, I said on the damn podcast, I said they lost to the Peacocks. It wasn't the Peacocks. It was Fairleigh Dickinson. Sorry, Fairleigh Dickinson. I forgot about you guys. I apologize. But yeah, they lost to a 16 seed, man. I don't know, man. Purdue, I think, is cursed, but they do have the best player in the country, technically, with Edey, and he's a beast. So
I got, let's see. So in Sweet 16, I got Baylor and Arizona. Arizona goes to the Elite Eight. And then St. Mary's is going to beat Arizona in an upset.
No. First of all, you're wrong. I'm just kidding. However,
hey,
dude,
it could happen.
Where the hell is St. Mary's even on this day? Oh, they're up here. I found them. Yeah, I have Grand Canyon Antelopes beating St. Mary's in round
That's
one.
right. You're Antelopes.
I got upsets, baby. Let's go.
My brother Zach was listening to your guys' podcast, that episode, and he's like, "Yo, they're going ham. They're going insane on these upsets."
They're not. Rob is, and Scotty the whole time is like, "I don't fucking want to listen to this guy talk more nonsense." Scott is very shocked for the most part, and I am so chaos, and I don't care if I'm wrong. I have reason. Honest to God, Matt, and I talked to my coworker about this shit today. Because he was watching YouTube highlights about some of these schools I didn't hear about. Because there's just names that you just don't know about.
Right.
And he's like sitting there watching shit. He's like, dude, I'm talking myself in to believing that these teams are going to win.
Okay.
Honest to God. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, dude, I do the same shit. I watch these teams play because I watch basketball year round. Honest to God, this is just like the Super Bowl for it. This isn't when a lot of people now check in just for the tourney. Like they don't watch much. I'm always watching. So, like, for these small schools, I'm like, cool, I get to finally see them on the big stage against a good school. Hopefully they do well. And honestly, a lot of these 12s and other, like, seeds like that are playing struggling powerhouses. We've seen these names before, like a Gonzaga's a 5, St. Mary's a 5. These schools have been around. They have been to the tourney. They have played well. So I understand when Scott says, dude, there's no way Gonzaga loses. There's no way St. Mary's loses. I get it. Because on paper, yeah, they shouldn't lose. That's why they're a favorite. But there's always a team or two that fucks up the whole thing, man. Yeah. Like I said, Owls last year, the Peacocks that one goddamn year. I didn't pick the Peacocks.
Yes,
so when the Peacocks were
nobody.
beating
I don't think not many people did.
Yeah. When the Peacocks were beating people, I was pissed, man. I was like, I didn't predict this one.
Yeah.
Because they beat good teams.
Yeah, and the Peacocks had like a chip on their shoulder that whole entire tournament, and I remember that too. I remember. I think it was when I first moved into the apartment.
Yeah, it was.
And we had that watch. Like I had the games on, and you were like, "Come on!" Like I remember you were sitting kind of like right at the dinner table or something like that.
How crazy this is! I remember the exact matchups and everything.
Me too. I saw
because it was Memphis against the Peacocks.
Yes, exactly. So I remember you were like, "Come on, Peacocks, come on!"
I like chaos, man. Yeah, I like chaos.
Now here's another thing. So not only we got 2 Michigan teams coming into this tournament, not Michigan, not U of M, but Michigan State and Oakland University. Zach's home school. Or not homeschool, Jesus.
Good shit for Zach. I went to Oakland for like 2 years.
That's right, yeah.
Transferred, but shit's kind of funny. So like this whole time, honestly, the last time, again, I'm going to sound old as hell. The last time that Oakland was in the tourney was 2011.
Really?
I graduated high school that year, and that's why I said I was going to Oakland.
That's
So
funny.
and they weren't even in the Horizon League. The Horizon wasn't part of them. They were part of the Summit,
Okay.
and then they changed conferences to the Horizon, and then it's just kind of funny. My buddy Zach, he actually still goes to games like every once in a while because he kind of lives like he doesn't live too far away, so it's only like a 30-minute drive from him. He still goes to games all the time. I'm like, dude, you're literally at the game right now to watch him play some shit school. It's just kind of funny.
Yeah, I mean, in all honesty, I think it was last year. I believe it was last year. We got tickets to go see Oakland play. God knows what school they were playing.
Yeah.
But I'll be honest, their basketball court is sick.
It's weird. It's weird though. It's definitely different because it's that brown.
Yeah, it's got that grizzly brown to it,
and gray and
gold and everything. Like their colors are really interesting.
I don't really care for it, but it is something that gets talked about, and that's kind of why I feel like they did it. Because like if you think about like there's certain courts around the league. If you watch a lot of basketball, like I know the one that's really sticks out to me is Oregon's court. Oregon has the trees and stuff, and it looks like it's surrounded by a forest almost. It's really wild. So like the whole court is like darked out tan trees, and then like there's like a little bit of court with their logo. It's really strange. So like Boise's football being blue. There's another school I can't remember what the hell it is, but their football field is red. So like I feel like just have to try to get something like to talk about their court because their court is totally different. Like it does stick out.
I'm looking up Oregon's basketball court.
Yeah, look at it. It's cool.
So I'm looking it up right now. Basketball.
Yeah, it's pretty sick. Like I said, it's like the trees outline the whole thing.
Oh, that's so weird.
Isn't that different? Like that's just shit that you just don't think about.
Yeah. I mean, like for everybody that's watching, that's what it looks like.
All that dark brown is like designed like pine trees, and then like in the middle it's just clear, and then I don't know if it's supposed to like try and like look like the state in the middle. I don't know.
Right.
But it's kind of cool.
Well, I don't think it's supposed to.
I don't think it is either with the shape. I've never looked at it like that hard, but it just does count.
Yeah.
It's just eye catching.
It is. But I also think, if you think about Oregon, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's mainly wooded area. It's.
But my thing is, like, a big fan of sports. I always think of the bright green, yellows, and bullshit, and I'm thinking they're going to come out with neon green court. No, but they went opposite. I'm actually glad they went opposite because their uniforms are so eye-catching most of the time. I mean, they don't go as crazy as football, but they still do wear some different colors. Like, I like Oregon's true, like, that neon green with the yellow. Mm-hmm. I think it's really nice. It's not over the top because the yellow's not as bright as the green, and it looks good. Right.
Yeah. Now, do you think they're going to come out with, now that they're in the tourney, do you think they're going to come out with some cool uniforms?
No, I think honestly you stick to like just your home or your away and you just let it ride because once you win one, I feel like you don't want to really switch up. If you notice, a lot of the teams for the most part, they kind of wear the same unis like the whole time. Like I don't know if anyone's ever noticed it. I mean, I think they're still in a home and away team, and obviously if there's a conflict for colors, but usually like that first round they pick one jersey, that's their jersey for the first round, and then the next round they'll put like their home or away, whatever, it doesn't conflict. But they'll probably, honest to God, I guarantee Oregon probably comes out in probably white jerseys for the first game because I think they're playing South Carolina. Mm. They'll probably come on like that dark burgundy.
Yeah. Now, like, who do you think will have the biggest, like, oh no, they dropped the ball kind of thing, meaning like they're such a good team and then they're just gonna choke?
It's hard not to say Purdue because Purdue does it so often, but I don't think it's Purdue this time. Let me pull up my brain because there was one team that I was okay. For one, Scott really thinks Bama can go on a run. They're a 4 seed. I think they're done pretty quickly. I think they maybe win one game, but that's not like a big deal. Mm. I would say out of the top seeds, Marquette. I think Marquette loses in the second round to Florida. Honest to God, I like Marquette with Tyler Kohler kid. I don't think Marquette's take that. I think Marquette's kind of above their head. Tennessee's looking good, dude. I know you're a Tennessee guy.
Go Vols, baby. Go Vols.
I'm scared, man. I think they honestly can make a run. I think they could really fuck up my bracket, which I have them going.
I'm trying to see.
I have them losing to Creighton in the Sweet 16.
I got Tennessee going all the way to the Elite Eight.
Of course you. I don't blame you. Who do you have beat in the Sweet 16? Creighton?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So that's where I have him, but I have Creighton moving on. I think Creighton's better.
So who I thought was gonna really shit the bed is I got two teams.
Oh, baby.
Well, and here's the funny thing. Like you said, Marquette. I got Western Kentucky being Marquette.
Damn, I love it. I love the chaos. I would love to see it. I don't know if I can. It's hard for me to see them lose the first round, but I definitely, like I said, if they don't lose to them, I think they're for sure going to lose to like a Florida team. It's just SEC bigger.
Yeah. So who I got shit in the bed though is Florida.
Damn.
So I got Florida going to the next round, and then going against Western Kentucky, and I got Western Kentucky beating Florida.
Bro, you got Western Kentucky making 2 wins?
Yeah. And then who else? Who else did I have?
That'd be crazy. 2 fucking wins out of a 15 seed.
Yeah, but I'm trying to think. Who else did I have? I had Western Kentucky beating them, Florida, and
I have Kansas losing early.
That's it. Yeah, Kansas. I'm like trying to scroll through and
the
find
thing
him.
is, like I said to Scott on our podcast, is Hunter Dickinson's like playing hurt right now. He might not play. He might, and if he does play, how healthy are you? Are you 60%, 50%, 70%? Like I don't know, but if you're not full on, they've been losing a lot, man, and without one of their best players, it might be a recipe for an upset.
So here's what I got. I got Kansas beating Samford, not Stanford, Samford.
Stanford. Bulldogs.
And then Gonzaga is gonna beat McNeese, and then I got Kansas and Gonzaga in the next round, and Gonzaga is just gonna beat them because
I agree. I think Kansas is not as good. I have McNeese beating Gonzaga and then beating Kansas. Okay. The hardest one for me is going to be the Gonzaga game. If they can beat Gonzaga, I think for sure they beat Kansas.
Now, with you wearing the TCU shirt, how far you got them going?
Only 1 round, man. They're not going to win one. They're in the bad part. They're in they're in an 8-9. I think they played number 1 after. So
yeah,
I don't remember who's the 1 seed in that part. Purdue. Yeah, I think they're almost pretty good.
Yeah.
TCU's not that great. They're middle of the pack. Coin flip for the first game. Should win.
Yep. That's exactly what I got. Of course, Kentucky against Oakland. I got Kentucky winning that one. Kentucky against Texas Tech. Kentucky's going again. And then Kentucky against Western Kentucky. Kentucky again.
That's so funny to hear.
And then Houston against Kentucky. Houston is going to beat them. Yeah,
I like Houston a lot. My only problem is in the conference tourney for them, they fucking lost to who the fuck just beat them? Iowa State? Yeah, I think it was Iowa State. And Iowa State held them to literally under 50 points. That's scary to me, man. That ain't good. 20 averaging for that, I don't remember what the final score was like. If you break it down the middle, that's like 22 points for a 20-minute half. That's terrible.
Yeah.
That scared me. Could be a fluke. Their whole season resume says it was a fluke.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm really recency biased. I'm more like, what have you done for me lately when it comes to sports? Yeah, you might have killed it early on, but if you have lost a lot in the clutch, I gotta go with what you've done more recently. It might have been a fluke back in November when you won games.
So out of the Big Ten going into Sweet 16, I got Illinois.
And Purdue.
Oh yeah, and Purdue. Yeah.
Don't forget your champ.
Right. Well, the championship matchup, yeah. But I got Illinois going against Iowa State, and then Iowa State's gonna beat them. So
yeah, I don't even think I have Illinois going that far. Let me see. Nope, I got BYU beat them.
Oh, okay. Let's see.
Cougars beat Illinois in, I believe, the Sweet 16.
Who did I have beating BYU? I got BYU. Oh, no, I got Illinois beating BYU.
Yeah, okay, so you got BYU winning the first game against Duquesne.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then
A lot of funny names. Hey, a lot of funny names again in this year's tournament.
I know there's so many funny names. I mean,
Moorhead State, Longwood. Oh man, classics.
well, and then
Absolute classics.
and then you got guys that are like John. What is it? James Madison.
Yep.
Yeah, I got James Madison going pretty far. Let's see.
So you have them beating Duke?
So Vermont plays Duke in the first round.
Yeah, I know. So but if Duke wins that, they play the winner.
James
of the
Madison. So I actually got Duke winning on that one.
Okay, so you got James Madison beating Wisconsin.
Yes.
Awesome. Yeah, me too. Like I said, down year for the Big Ten. I hate to see it. Big Ten guy. It's just terrible. They kind of like beat each other up, and they just weren't good in general. Like Zach Edey ran away with it. Illinois kind of could go dangerous, but because I like Shannon, that guy came from Texas Tech. He transferred to Illinois. He was supposed to transfer to Michigan, changed his mind, went to Illinois. Probably good for him because Michigan was a shit show this year. But I don't know, man. Like I said, this is Christmas time, man.
Yeah. I mean, it's always fun. I mean, you pay attention to it more than I do. Like I tried to get Thomas into your guys' podcast bracket, which we'll talk about that later. But Thomas is like, I don't pay attention to it. I'm like, neither do I. I just do it every year because it's fun.
Yeah, it's fun. It's free. Like I said, we're putting on the challenge. If you listen to our NCAA podcast, we give away the password to the group on there. But yeah, me and Scott are going to give away $50 as a total. So $50 to the winner. No entry fee, nothing. So yeah, Thomas should do it. What the fuck? Why not? He'll probably win. You pick random. Nobody knows.
Yeah,
that's the fun part.
And I think I told you guys this last year, and you may recall. But one year when it was back to paper and it was before online stuff and everything.
I remember this. I know you haven't told your listeners also.
I know, yeah. So my brother JT, back when we were all kids and it was back to the paper brackets, my dad, my brothers, and I, we all would do our brackets. And JT picked Butler to go all the way and win. Why? It's because of the name Butt. And he went all the way and won.
Good job, Gordon Hayward on Butler. That's why they won. Good old Butt. Hey, last year we had Oral Roberts.
Yes, Oral Roberts. Yes.
That was a great name, bro.
Yeah. I tell you what, some of these schools, I'm like, wait, that's actually a school?
Yeah, man, shit's crazy. Absolutely nuts.
I mean, you would think like maybe might be D2, but those guys are all D1, which is shocking.
Yeah, those are D1 schools. Not great, but entertaining as hell when they randomly show up. Because you don't think about these schools ever.
Yeah.
And they randomly show up in the tourney, and you're like, Longwood? Oral Roberts? Butler? Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah. Now, do you think ever those schools will come back and play the tourney in the future?
Yeah, I'm sure they will. I mean, obviously, shit rotates.
Mm-hmm.
It seems to be a circle of life kind of thing. No one's really dominating one certain tournament. Like, I mean, a lot of times Richmond gets in, the Spiders. You see them almost every time. They're a good basketball school. They didn't make it. The only way these schools are going to make it for the most part is if they win their conference tournament. And that ain't a given, dude. That's another little mini March Madness tournament among your peers. I mean, like I said, Houston just lost in the finals, and they're the best team in the country, and they lost by 20. It's just not a given. So yeah, you'll probably see Oral Roberts again. You see him once in a while. I mean, there's teams like that. You just pop up. It's fun. Like you kind of need a really good basketball player on there. And a lot of the times, like okay, Steph Curry went to Davidson. Davidson made the tournament because of Steph Curry. CJ McCollum, he went to Lehigh. You ever hear of fucking Lehigh?
Nope.
No, they made the tourney and they upset Duke again. NBA players. You almost need an NBA player like Ja Morant was on Murray State. Murray State hasn't been in the tournament since Ja Morant. There's just certain players that come, make the school good, and then they make a run, and then that's when you hear about these teams. And that's kind of where these guys come from. I mean, a lot of times you remember some of the players from March, super hot, may go to the NBA, may not, but they just were unbelievable. You remember their names like Jimmer Fredette, guys like this. Kemba did good. Kemba Walker ended up going to the NBA. He was solid. Carmelo was really solid. some of those Kentucky teams with Anthony Davis and guys like that. There's a lot of like things you'll remember just for March Madness. Like we just said, Gordon Hayward on Butler. He's in the NBA, but I don't think about Gordon Hayward in the NBA. I think of Gordon Hayward on Butler hitting shots and making a fucking name for himself. So there's some people that are just literally married to March at that point once you do that well.
Yeah, and I think as you were saying, like, oh, I don't remember that guy in the NBA. I remember that guy in college. I remember on one of your guys' episodes, I was in the room, and you guys were talking about, like, even with football, like, how guys were really, really good in college, but they didn't do well in the pros.
There's tons, man.
Yeah.
Tons. You probably, honestly, you ever see, like, the Tavon Austin thing going around where it's like, have you ever seen Tavon Austin's highlights and they show like random ass people? Like some guy went to like China and was showing random people Tavon Austin highlights and they thought he was like the best NFL player ever, but it's just college. It's just so funny because his shit was so dynamic. He was supposed to be the next big thing for NFL and just it doesn't fucking work out. There's guys all the time. Tebow, Vince Young.
Yeah.
I mean, Matt Leinart, Reggie Bush. There's so many really good players, and then they get to the NFL and just doesn't fucking pan out. Same thing in basketball, man. It's funny. There was one time a few years ago, the New Mexico State Aggies made a tournament. They haven't been in, I don't think. They probably have been since, but I don't remember. They had this big dude. He was like 7 feet tall, like almost 400 pounds, just massive man. His name was Sim Bular, and I picked him to win so many damn games as an upset just because he was this big old fucking animal dude. Like, he was a beast on the boards, dunking on people, but he moved so slow. But it was just so funny to see this guy because it was just different. There's just things you don't see. So, like, people like that stick out. And we still talk about this guy. I don't even know where the hell he's playing basketball. He could be somewhere fucking overseas playing basketball. But it's just like, we remember him from fucking March. So it's just funny. Like, even if they don't do good, there's just certain players that stick out.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, what cracks me up is I think I sent this to you and your brother. It's highlights. This came up, I think, on my Instagram feed. It was highlights of LeBron James playing football.
Oh, yeah.
And he was, I think...
was that him at the Ohio State stuff? I think he went there to hang out with Ohio State, or was that stuff when he went to hang out in Cleveland?
No, this was like high school football highlights, like actual football.
Straight up playing for real.
Like straight up playing for real.
He could have been a monster. He could have been a monster.
Oh my gosh. But, he, of course, as we all know, he's an incredible basketball player. And just the fact that, he was just an athlete all around back in high school to where he was just a killer on the court, but he was also really, really good on the football field. And the fact that, he could hit oh my gosh, there were some where he was blocking and he just was trucking dudes.
There's so many people that thank God they chose like football or basketball, vice versa type deals. Like, who knows if it would have worked out or not? Because I mean, Antonio Gates, he played college basketball. One of the best tight ends to ever play. Tony Gonzalez, also a college basketball player. Luckily, he chose football. Rightfully so. Again, Hall of Fame tight end. There's so many players. There's like, I can't remember. There's so many wide receivers and other shit. Like Gronk played a little bit. It was just, there's so many guys that you might not have heard of if they fucking didn't choose the right sport, which is wild because there's a ton of people out there today that they made a choice and they made their own. Like Kyler Murray got drafted to the MLB. He chose football. At the time, it looked like a good move. I don't know if it was a good move anymore, man. You kind of lost a starting job.
Do you think he could do what?
Pays.
Yeah. Now, do you think he could do what Bo Jackson did, or what Michael Jordan did?
No. Even Michael Jordan couldn't do it, and I'm the biggest Michael Jordan supporter. There's a reason why he never made it to the majors. And honest to God, he probably wouldn't have made it in the no, he was in the minors, bro.
But he was a White Sox.
He played for the White Sox team in the minor leagues. When they had spring training games, they had him. You know how like they have spring training in Lakeland for the Tigers?
Was that it? Okay.
Yeah, he didn't make it to the MLB.
No kidding.
And honest to God, honestly, if Jordan wasn't Jordan and that big of a deal to Chicago, if he was the Joe Schmo off the street, he would not have been on a fucking roster. It was just Honest to God. And that's why I'm glad he went back to basketball. But if he didn't have that whole break in the action and stay with basketball the whole way, dude would have been. He would have probably won a couple more champions.
Yeah.
Easily would have won more championships.
Yeah.
Easily.
Now,
But
here's...
you just won't. Sorry to interrupt.
You're good.
You won't see it ever. And honestly, I think about it. Think about how many kids are trying to tell now in like high school and shit to stick to one fucking sport. I think it's stupid. But that's why these kids are going to like the IMG academies and everything to go play one fucking sport, and that's your sport. They don't want multi-sport athletes anymore. They just don't. They want you to train baseball, basketball. Either one. That's all they want you to focus on. They want to build you up, use you. You get a big ride, go to college because you got to go to college now. You can't make the leap to pros, but that's it. Like, honestly, you will never see a multi-sport athlete in the pros ever again.
Yeah.
I guarantee it.
Yeah. But if you also look at Bo Jackson was in...
Bo Jackson is a unicorn, bro. Like, that is a mythical-ass creature. That never should have happened. Honest to fucking God. Dude was unreal.
Yeah.
He was unreal. He could hit fucking hard as shit, hitting bombs, making plays where he runs on the goddamn wall in the outfield, running people over for the fucking Raiders on the daily, scoring touchdowns, rushing for 150 yards. All in a day's work for this man. This man never got hurt. How could you play 2 fucking seasons, bro? How would you not burn out? How would you not burn out? Your off season is the start of MLB, basically.
Well, and what's also crazy is the fact of how powerful Bo Jackson was to the point where he blew out his hip.
Yeah.
All because he wouldn't go down.
Yeah.
Like, that's power. Like,
Dude,
he had so much power, he blew out his own hip.
That's crazy. And then the other thing I remember, too, is when he'd break the baseball bats, like, it was nothing. Like,
right across his head.
Dude,
or right
across his head, his leg, anything. He made it look like these things were straws. It is not easy to break a baseball bat, people. Go fucking try. Just for the hell of it, go try. You won't be able to do it. You'll probably hurt yourself.
Yes.
It is crazy. And he did it just straight up like it was nothing. You think it would be
like it was a pencil.
Yes.
Oh, my goodness.
Crazy. Like that picture of him with the shoulder pads on the baseball bat.
Yeah.
You know, this one in the black and white usually. Crazy, man. He's just jacked.
Oh, my
Big old
goodness.
human man.
Oh, my goodness. And then, well, and back to what you were saying about, picking one or the other, one of the biggest stories is Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, for him for baseball, too. He could play baseball.
Yeah.
That's what his dad did.
Didn't he get drafted by the Twins?
No, I believe it was... I know where he got drafted, and I might be wrong. I think I got drafted by the Tigers.
That's what it was. It was the Tigers.
The fucking Tigers!
He could have been a Tiger.
God, it could have been Tiger. The league would be a little bit more wide open. It wouldn't be owned by Mahomes and the Chiefs. Thanks, Detroit. It's mind-blowing to me, too, that they waste a draft pick on these guys. I mean, I get it. You never know if they're going to make the change. But, like, Russell Wilson got drafted. Kyler Murray's been drafted. Tom Brady, Expos, drafted. Mahomes, drafted. And they all choose fucking football. Most of the time, they go the other way. I'm just surprised these people waste draft picks on these guys. Kyler Murray was a really high pick by the Athletics. And they got nothing because he chose to play football. Just bad decisions.
And like you were saying, like with these 2-3 sport athletes, and how everybody's, saying like you need to play one sport.
Yeah,
I was talking to a friend of mine whose kids are playing high school, junior high sports and stuff like that. They're playing football and wrestling, and how the wrestling coach is like it's like the politics and everything, as well as like wanting that one kid to play one individual sport and just stick to it.
Yeah. It sucks to see, and you're absolutely right about the politics thing. I remember towards the end of my years for baseball for high school, I didn't play for the team. But I would try out. I tried out, I think, twice. And the second time I go to try out, I think it was like junior. I think it was junior year. I didn't even try out for senior year. Junior, I go, and I'm hanging out, shooting hoops at this place called a sports facility. It was nearby. We were all playing basketball, me and all the guys. And a bunch of kids walk in with, I see the baseball coach, and I see a bunch of kids I used to play travel with. And I'm like, what the fuck's going on? And they go to the hitting cages. And I'm like, dude, what is this? Spring, you know how they had conditioning and all that? I'm like, conditioning hasn't even started yet. We haven't even had tryouts. The coach took everyone who was on the team last year to go do more hitting drills before tryouts. So I'm like, what's up on the tryouts? He has his team already here. They're hosting private practice. I was so pissed, Matt. Dude, I said, I'm never playing for these fuck guys. I was like, I'm done. I'm done. I'll see you guys in travel. We'll have fun. I ended up hitting, on that last year, like 400. I led the team in batting average. I led off. I didn't have power. I was actually, believe it or not, I was fast at one point in my life. My mom will tell you no, but I had some speed. And I remember hitting better than half the kids who were on the high school team that also played travel. And I'm like, dude, you guys, it was all politics, but I wasn't one of the coach's boys, so it was like, whatever, bro.
Yeah.
They turned down a lot of good players, too, which was kind of mind-blowing.
Yeah. And again, like, you get these coaches that, love their, team or like love their players and stuff.
They've known them for so long.
Right. And another thing is they see talent, or they see like, oh, these guys can take, I can be known for coaching them and stuff like that. So they kind of do it selfishly maybe. But, instead of letting the kids just have a childhood, or not even having a childhood, just let them play.
Do everything.
Because not only do they have the experience of playing that one sport, but they have multiple memories of playing different sports and stuff like that.
You meet different people playing different sports. Like growing up, I had my baseball friends, I had my basketball friends, and so on. We would all get together for different sports and stuff, and you get to meet people playing different things. Like if you were just literally pushed into one little box, and that's all you know is one box. Like, I mean, let them explore. Let them see if they like basketball. Let them see if they like football, hockey, whatever the hell you want them to play.
Right.
But I just think it's really shitty for, like, if you're really good at baseball, to say, oh, you're only playing baseball. Like, that's all we want. Like, and that's what the coach are telling the parents to do. It's just like, no, stick to this. Whereas, who knows? They could have been the best football player, but they never branched out.
Yeah. I mean, I even look back at like my experiences playing sports. I mean, I played baseball for 10 years. And then once I started like getting really serious about football, I mean, I've always loved football from the time that I was like 3 years old, 5 years old, and when it started to come on to where I was playing, it was when in 8th grade, when we would go to the high school to lift weights, I would be so sore that I couldn't play baseball.
Oh, yeah.
Because it was in the springtime. And so I was like, all right, I'm not that great at playing baseball anymore. I don't have the interest for it.
Yeah.
And then
and that's later on in your career. I'm talking like, if you're in elementary school and you're putting them in only like one sport, I think unless the kid wants to. If the kid wants to just say, hey, I don't like the other sports, I don't want to play baseball, and they gave it a shot, fuck it, sign them up for just baseball. But if they're saying, hey, I really like playing basketball, but coach only wants me to stick with baseball or football, let them play everything.
Right.
Who cares? If the kid gets hurt playing fucking basketball, and the coach on baseball is like, oh, well, he should never been playing basketball. Who cares? Let them live their life. It should have. If injuries happen, it's going to happen. It could happen in this sport that they stuck with. You never know. So I think it's kind of stupid to say, to reduce injuries, we only want you to play this one sport. And yet they're doing more practices, more harmful things that could happen to you by overloading one sport. Whereas if they play maybe rec basketball just for fun with their friends, not competitive, nothing crazy, and they kind of get that stolen from them, because some of these parents, man,
they're ruthless. They're ruthless.
They all think their kid's going to be the next pro.
I agree. I mean, I wrestled for 2 years, and I remember I wrestled my 8th grade year, started out then and grew into a pretty good wrestler. And then freshman year, I thought I was going to go to JV, but then they didn't have a 145, and I was weighing 145 as a freshman. And so they needed a 145 on varsity, and I automatically was thinking, oh, varsity jacket, right?
Yeah.
The fact that I can say that I was a varsity wrestler, you know.
That is pretty cool.
Got my ass kicked almost all the time, you know.
Yeah.
Some wins were by default. Some wins were because I was stronger on that sense, so I could, you know, muscle out some of the guys that were just tall and lengthy.
Yeah.
But the dudes that were just short and just built like a brick shit house, I would get my ass kicked. And
That
then
reminds me of my cousin Joe.
yeah, so
Have you ever met my cousin Joey?
yeah, at your wedding and a couple other
Well,
things.
anyways, he was all state wrestling. Like, he would go to all that shit all the time.
Yeah,
And he's like, and you know, he ain't tall at all.
no,
Well, he was small. He was just jacked.
mm-hmm.
And that's how he won all his shit. So literally, you saying that is legitimately
Yeah,
the opposite of how he was. Like, he did the same thing. So those were the kids that he probably would hate going
well,
up against.
when did Joe graduate?
Oh, he graduated with Scotty then. So
14.
2014, 2015, somewhere in there.
Okay, and what school did he go to?
Anchor Bay.
Oh, so I probably either went against him or had other guys go against him
Bro, that's so funny.
in different tournaments or meets or whatever.
Yeah, it's
like,
about the same time period.
Yeah,
Probably, but I
yeah.
don't know what weight. He was like the smallest weight class, one of the smaller weight classes.
yeah, so I know a couple of people that probably went against him. Yeah, that's so funny. And but yeah, so I mean that whole season I lost 5 pounds, not by force or anything, you know, saying you got to cut, nothing like that.
Yeah.
I lost 5 pounds just for the whole season and just by, you know, working out and wrestling and everything. So I immediately was like, oh God, like I'm playing off of offensive line come JV, and I know these JV kids are going to be a lot bigger on the line. So I had to pack on the pounds. I went from 140 to 152 within that duration of time. And because I didn't want to lose any weight, I quit wrestling. And, you know, it's somewhat of a regret of mine because then I'm thinking, you know, what if I kept eating and just kept building, you know, on the size, but still just, you know, maybe went down to JV just for, you know, my sophomore season and, you know, and whatever. But, you know, I was so focused on football and making sure that, because, you know, I'm not the tallest guy. I'm 5'9", going against these 6'4", 300 and something pound guys by the time I'm going to varsity, you know. And I mean, even freshmen in JV, those were some big mamma jammas, you know. But
you made the right decision, though. I mean, you can only base off how you felt in the moment. You can't look back on shit. That's how I at least live it. Like I said, because I didn't end up playing football, and that was kind of always a regret of mine. But at the time, dude, I was sick of getting my ass handed to me by everyone who was bigger. I was 5'0" in 8th and 9th grade. I was the smallest kid out there. Again, I had some speed, but I wasn't like your track star speed, so I didn't really have much to bring to the table. And then, of course, I hit my growth spurt senior year when it's like, I'm not joining nothing at this point. I'll just stick to what I know. So,
yeah.
But again, you got to think about how you felt at the time. Don't regret shit, in my opinion.
Yeah, but also, you know, as my dad says, and as every parent would say, you know, by the time that you're 12, 13, your brain goes out the window, and by the time that you're 24, 25, you're like, oh,
It
snap.
comes back, you catch up.
Yeah, you catch up. Well, I mean, you know, by the time you hit high school, you think you know shit. You think you know the world, when really you don't know shit. And then, you know, by the time you're 24, 25, you're like, oh, made some mistakes along the way, you know?
Yeah, damn women. As another distraction in high school. That shit would have been out the window. I might have been a really good student. I don't fucking know, but...
Yeah, I was more there for the social aspect, I would say.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying, man. It's like sometimes you wish you would just shut up and pay attention a little bit. You might have learned something, and then who knows? But again, I don't look back too much. How shit happened is how it happened.
Yeah.
It all worked out. I'm happy with my life, so that's good. And like I said, there's certain days where I wish I'd go back. When people say, you know what's wild to me are the kids who are like, man, I would never want to go back to high school. I'm like, you know what? Honestly, for a day, I would fucking love to relive it. Like,
absolutely.
Exactly how it was with my friends who lived across the street, down the street, playing basketball after school, going to practice, even class, any of that. Fuck yeah, give me one more day, no bills, no job, shit. I would take that in a heartbeat for a day.
I would too. In all honesty, I would not even do just a day. I would do a week.
Yeah. That'd be awesome, man.
I'm like, give me a week of just, high school all over again. And where there's like you said, no responsibilities. You're just a kid and you're just enjoying life. I mean, even though you hated waking up in the morning, I still hate waking up in the morning to go to work.
Yeah, I know.
I hate
that
it.
Should don't change.
That has never changed.
No,
but waking up in the morning and just going to class and just enjoying being a kid, like you take that stuff for granted.
There's a lot of people like I said, you just when you get older, you grow out of touch. And man, just for we'll go with your week theory. Just for a week to be around like good old friends and shit that you have not seen for a while, and enjoying that shit. Hell yeah, I would take that. I feel like the people that say that just didn't enjoy school, but
yeah,
they weren't like social people or whatever.
They were ready to get out back then.
They didn't want to be there. I enjoyed all that shit. It was fun, man. Like, I don't know. It was easy.
Yeah. I mean, I'm right there with you to where it's like, whether if it was in class or whatever, or, the certain teachers or whatever, or even I run into, old teammates every now and again. And, and they're like, I remember I went to the Armada fair and I ran into a buddy of mine that I played football with since we were 12 years old. And we played all the way till we were 17, 18. Right. And so his dad and my dad were like the football dads. They hung out all the time and shit like that. And I bumped into him at the fair. And oh my gosh, like we were talking about the good old days. We were talking about, glory days and stuff like that.
Forever.
Oh my God, yeah.
You run into, and that's another thing. Again, I don't think most of these people say they don't want to go back to the high school times and shit. Another thing, I don't think they had like sports or some shit like that. If you played sports, man, the memories you made with some of these people. Even if you don't see these people in years, you could pick up like that. Again, if they were your teammates, brother type thing, like that's a bond that you just form.
Absolutely.
And even if you don't talk to them for years.
Yeah.
It's something that doesn't go away. You literally could run into them again and pick right back up like it was nothing.
Exactly. And
Honestly,
him and I were talking, even though he's playing Canadian football right now, he still comes to, like, him and I were talking, he goes, dude, even though, I played college ball for two different schools, I'm playing Canadian football. He goes, not a day goes by do I think, one, if I could just have a day to where we could all just suit back up and just play one more game, he goes, that would be amazing. I mean, I would absolutely love that. I mean, granted, you and I played softball together and it was fun and stuff like that. But if I could suit back up.
Nothing beats the childhood shit.
Oh my gosh. If I could suit back up, put that helmet and shoulder pads on and just play. Yeah. I may be out of shape, and not be as in shape as I was back in high school, but I would still get that adrenaline pumping. I would absolutely just want to play my heart out and just know that it would be the very last time ever playing. And
that's literally how I feel about baseball.
Yeah.
If I go back and play baseball again at my the last travel team I was on with my buddies, dude, I would in a heartbeat. In a fucking heartbeat.
Yeah.
I don't see any of them anymore. We all drifted different ways.
I know.
Different paths. It is what it is. No bad blood against anybody, but it's like, dude, and every time I randomly run into them, again, like I said, it's like nothing's ever changed. It's all good. But yeah, man, we can go back and play one more game somewhere. Oh, that'd be fun as fuck.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And then of course, and now I'm like just wishing for to possibly have a kid and to have like a son or even a daughter that wants to play some football,
Oh, yeah.
And that way I can coach and be still part of the game. Because I mean,
you would enjoy coaching. Like I said, for you especially, because I coached before. I coached 13. I coached typically 12 to 13-year-old boys, and that was for baseball. And that was fun, man. They're funny-ass kids, because you think about when you were 12, 13, they're saying the stupidest shit, talking about the dumbest stuff, just fresh for the most part. Most of them were pretty competitive, so that was fun for me because, again, you have people that actually want to win and play and be there because that's half the battle. Sometimes most of these kids are signed up because their parents either want it as a daycare service or they just want them. Their dad's trying to relive something through a kid who clearly has no talent. I mean, it is what it is. But honestly, Matt, with you, like, you would have been a great assistant or head coach, and I could be the assistant. I don't really care. It don't matter to me. But I'm just saying, like, because you have more of the positivity shit. You would take the time. You have more patience than I do. So, and it's a big teacher. It really is. And honestly, I do miss coaching once in a while. Mel says I should sign up again. But it's just a little more different now with kids, you know, like the TikTok era. I don't know if I would hop back in and enjoy it as much, but it was a good time. So, yeah, when you have your own child one day, yeah, I recommend definitely giving it a shot. It's fun.
So I coached for 2 years after high school, and I coached tackle football, but they were like 11 and 12-year-olds, 10, 11 the first year, and then 11 and 12 the next year. And, you know, it was a joy. We didn't win a single game, but it was just it was a joy to see the kids that had never played before by the end of the season play like they've been playing for a couple years. And also, you know, seeing the different kids, you know, and just see how I could, like, you know, just coach them up and do the best I could to be a coach.
That's all you can do is give an effort.
Absolutely. So, you know, I always thinking about to, you know, that one day to where I can, you know, coach my kids, whether it would be in baseball, because I know for a fact I would love to be either assistant coach, definitely be assistant coach for baseball, but mainly be assistant coach or head football coach for like my kids. And, you know, even though you said like during this TikTok era and stuff like that,
I would still do it again.
Absolutely. I know you would do it in a heartbeat. You know, you have your kids, and I know you, like, whether it be like if you have a daughter, you would have, you know, you would do softball, and I know you would be out there coaching away, and even if you had a son, baseball, even football, I could see you, you know, coaching football and stuff like that.
Yeah, I probably could to a certain level for football, for sure. So.
Oh, well, yeah, usually you see dads coach, you know, the rec leagues. And
yeah, I would do some shit like that because that would be fun. I know enough to where we would be a dangerous team.
Absolutely.
We'd be running trick plays and shit all up and down the field.
Absolutely. You know, I can definitely see you doing that, whether it be rec league, you know, the little rec leagues, or even the tackle football that they have, you know, for the different cities, you know, but, you know, even though you say during the TikTok, I could definitely see you jumping right back into it and wanting to be a part of the action.
Oh,
Meanwhile, Mel's up in the stands just being that, you know, sports mom.
Making sure I don't do anything stupid, too.
Right.
Don't embarrass your kid.
Right.
See, my biggest thing, and I think that's a good thing for seeing different levels of coaching, because, I mean, when I was growing up, I told my dad I didn't want him to coach me anymore because he was so hard on me. I couldn't handle it. I hated it. And it was clear as day difference. I didn't enjoy going to practice no more because it was so tough on me, and every other kid had it fucking easy, and I couldn't figure it out. So then I told him to stop. Made a bunch of. I did good. I made a bunch of all-star teams. My first year in the league for the 13 to 15-year-olds, I made it as a 13-year-old. I beat out a bunch of the 15-year-old kids on my team to make the all-star team. I pissed off so many kids, and every year I told my dad, "See, I did it on my own. See, I did it on my own. See, I did it on my own." And it sucks because that's one regret. I'm like, looking back, I just see, because my dad was a lot of kind of like competitive like me. So I get what the fuck he's doing now. But then I was like, dude, just so hard on me, man. It's like, this isn't enjoyable. I didn't want it. And then he ended up coaching my brother. And then eventually I ended up coaching with them. And then I did my own thing afterwards. But man, those were some of the most fun times ever. But I don't ever want to be the parent who puts their kid at quarterback, at pitcher, at whatever, just because they're my kid. I don't want any of that. Or shortstop. I don't want any of the prime time. If they earn it, they earn it. It is what it is. I'm not going to be that. If there's someone clearly better than my kid and I'm coaching, yeah, I will let them. They earn their spot. I hated playing for coaches where they literally had their kid do everything. I'm like, dude, this kid sucks. And I'm over here taking the back seat to their kid, hitting the ball, killing it, while he still hits cleanup. Terrible, but
I can definitely relate. I can definitely relate to that one of you know, having the coach's kid be pitcher or quarterback or whatever. But I one thing that I wish, that could have happened is, even though you said like you didn't like your dad coaching and everything like that, my dad never coached me. My dad was on the coaching staff, coaching JV or freshman when I was a senior, right? He was on the coaching staff. He was just never my coach. And my dad coached my brother 1 year in football, but he never coached me. And that's something that I'm just like, oh, damn, like that's one thing I wish could have happened.
Cool, right? Yeah, no, I hear you.
But that gives me even more motivation to coach my kid. But it's never going to be like, I'm not going to put my kid at, like, if my kid's like a big chunky kid, I ain't putting him at quarterback.
Yeah. you gotta let them, like, do their own thing. And that's the thing, too. Like, when I made the choice to tell my dad, no, I'm coaching more, that was pitching machine, bro.
Mm-hmm.
We're like 8 or 9 years old. So it wasn't like I knew everything type thing. I just knew I was not having a good time.
Yeah.
And everywhere my dad went to coach, he won. Every time he would coach winners, all the time.
Yeah.
And then I'd be on the shittiest teams, but I'd be the best player.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, this sucks. I remember in high school, we still played rec ball for like my freshman year. And one of my best friends played, he played like short and second area, and I played third and short, so we were always by each other. Man, we're the only ones who were worth a shit on that team. Our whole rest of the team sucked. It was so fucking bad, man. And we just be at the infield, just be like, bro, what the fuck is happening, man? Like, everyone's ass. Like, we're just, like, shooting this shit. I remember one time I lost my hat. I went to get a ground ball, and my hat fell off. And, I mean, it died in the grass. I could have went over there and picked it up, but we were getting our ass kicked, man. I went back. I picked up my hat. I said, fuck the ball. I said, I was done. We were getting our ass kicked. I made the left fielder kid run in and get the ball. And my coach like, man, you ever do that again, I'm going to blah, 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 and all this crap. I'm just like, dude, we're getting destroyed, man. I was done. I mean, like, I knew it was wrong to do it in the moment, but I'm like, man, what are we doing? You got your kid pitching. He's terrible. I'm like, put someone else in, but he always played his son, man. And then me and Zach played flag football for rec in, like, middle school. Dude, the coach's son could not throw a ball, man. Could not throw a ball. And guess who played quarterback every damn game? His fucking kid. And we got destroyed. Wobbliest football you've ever seen thrown, that was him. And we had a couple kids on our team that could easily throw, and they never put him in. Because he had, like, some big ego thing where he always plays kid.
Yeah. Well, you know my buddy Mike.
Yeah.
So him and I played baseball from the time that we were, like, really little, and he was the pitcher. But he didn't suck. He just had a bad attitude, and so him and his dad would just butt heads every season. Every season, him and his dad would butt heads, and it wasn't because he wasn't good, because he was good. Yeah. But him and his dad would just butt heads so much to where it was just comical.
That's funny.
And then my buddy Nolan, who was the quarterback, who was also the coach's son, he could throw the ball. He was a good athlete, and he ended up playing high school quarterback, but he was always small. So every time that he got tackled, he would just get trucked.
Oh.
And I feel bad for kind of giggling about it, but his dad was passionate for sure. But every time,
did his kid feel the same way or no?
What's that?
Did his kid feel that passion too for the game, or was he just more like?
Oh yeah, I mean, but so it was just interesting because he was he loved the game, and he was always a good athlete, but he, like, being a leader in a sort of way, he led sometimes for the wrong reasons, but when it was game time, he could really lead, kind of thing. So it was but I mean, we were all kids back then, so it really like, it just is kind of funny to look back and be like, oh,
I got so many funny fucking memories, man. Like, there was one time I was pitching, and again, it was back when all our teams would fucking lose, and every time I pitched, we would do okay. Like, I'm not saying we win every game, because it's just not true, because no one get hit, but we were at least in it. Man, I remember and this is back before they had all, like, the super, like, really strict rules where you can only throw so many pitches, you can't pitch every day, you can't do whatever. It was the last game of the season, and, man, I threw at least 130 pitches, man. I kid you not. I threw at least 130. I remember the coach coming up and be like, hey man, you're at like almost 100. You're pitching this weekend for a tourney. He's like, I gotta take you out. I'm like, dude, I'm not fucking losing again in rec ball. I'm like, I'm finishing this damn game because I know damn well you're gonna put some other kid in. He's gonna blow it. It's close. It's basically a tie game. Anyways, he saw the coach. He's like, well, I gotta ask your dad. So he goes up to my dad, and my dad goes, man, my kid ain't turning pro. If he wants to fucking stay in the game, fucking let him. I don't give a shit. Let him throw his arm out. Threw out my damn arm. I finished the game, but that whole weekend turning, man, my buddy had icy hot. I was just throwing icy hot on my arm every damn day. I was like, oh, this is brutal. But it was so funny. I remember my dad saying that, man, he ain't going pro. He's 13. You want to stay in the game? Let him do it. I'm like, okay.
Well, I was never coached by your dad, but when your dad helped us out in softball and everything, having those different conversations with your dad, I understand why his team won, and it wasn't just because the team was just absolutely good. It was because he had coachable players, and he took the time to take him aside and put his arm around him and be like, listen, and talk to him and how and whatever. And that's what I, as
%, man,
as a 20-something-year-old guy just playing, just beer league softball, and having your dad just come over and have that, that coachable player.
Yeah, he legitimately cares.
Yeah.
About, like, when it comes to sports, like, he wants to see everyone do well. If he sees anything that's like something that you might be able to learn and like fix, he'll attempt to coach you. But he's one of those guys that if you say like, hey bro, I'm good, I don't care, he'll leave you alone. He don't give a shit. He's like, that's fine, like, you're a grown ass man, you want to say no. Or even when we were kids, if you no, I got this, okay, go ahead. And then eventually you're gonna end up saying, dude, I suck. And then most of these kids, like I said, when they were teenagers, they'll come back like after the game and be like, man, well, what's going on, what can we work on, type thing. And then they finally be open. But back then, every kid thinks that they're going to be the best thing. They're like, dude, I don't need no help. Well, you struck out 3 times and you barely ticked the ball. I mean, come on, like, let's go. And my dad was always cool like that. Like, he would actually take the time to better, like, people. Like, he actually cared to want to see these kids do well, even if it wasn't anything important. Even if it was, like, a small league or whatever. Or even now, like, anything he can do to, like, help with tips and tricks, he'll give them. So, like, I was like, yeah, man, it's just different. So that was kind of cool to have him around because, like I said, I haven't actually been a player for anything where he's kind of like coaches. So that was kind of cool for the softball thing because, like I said, it was just barely hanging out, and it was kind of cool to like have him there to like third base coach and just shoot the shit and like help out some of the guys who were having issues with their swings or whatever. So it was kind of cool to just be around that atmosphere. So
yeah,
I feel you when you said that.
And then you became 9 years old again.
Yeah. Oh, man, dude. It's just so funny, though.
Ah, shit. Yeah. But, I mean, one thing I can always say for any type of player, it doesn't matter if you're a young kid or, teenager or even an adult, just be coachable. Just be coachable because there's always something that you can improve.
And as for life, too, and that's why I feel like so many people should play sports, bro. You learn so many life lessons playing sports. You get your ass kicked. You learn how to get back up from it. You learn how to do things on your own. You learn how to work together as a unit. You learn how to be coachable, like you said. Because in the real world, if you're going to come across people that you're not going to agree with, politics, whatever, life decisions, shit like that, you have to at least have an open mind and see, okay, well, maybe for their lifestyle it works out or whatever. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so like when it comes to the coachable thing, you're absolutely right. There could be somebody better than you that you could learn something from, but if you're so blocking everything out, I'm perfect, you might miss out on somewhere where you could develop. I think, and again, going just outside of sports aspect, that's like me with Melanie. Melanie has taught me so much shit when it comes to like empathy and other emotions that I just don't really pay attention to. And it helped me grow as a person. So, like, I feel like that comes back with me being able to be coached for certain shit because you want to be better. I want to be a better human being. Every day, I at least want to be better somehow, some way. So, I think it all comes back to sports, dude. Honest to God, I think about my coaches and all the life lessons and shit, and it's helped me be the man I am today. And I try, and like you said with the other day with that quote with the Be Curious, Not Judgmental quote. That
yes.
Dude,
When I had
I
Kim
love,
on there,
I love watching that clip from the Ted Lasso shit. I love seeing that shit, and I'm like, that's so damn good. You just have to have an open mind because you don't know what everyone's going through. And like I said, if you're always able to learn something, it can help you out in the future.
Yeah, be curious, not judgmental. I love how you used one of my episodes.
Yeah,
on that.
you've had some great episodes lately.
Yeah, thanks, dude. Appreciate it. I mean, and the fact that again, you are now the third person, or you are now three-time appearance on the show, and
we'll get Scotty on here.
I
too,
know we keep saying that.
Because honestly, now especially with this Riverside shit, it's almost better because now we can do like the 3 type call.
Exactly.
And have a chat that way because he's got stories for fucking days about sports and coaching moments too.
Oh, I believe
fucking coached his ass.
Right.
So like, there's so many cool things like that that bring to the table. And honestly, I think that's why me and Scott are so close. Is honestly probably from that too. So
honestly, I mean, I can definitely say my brothers we're close in our different ways, but I can definitely like my brother Zach and I we're close, but we're not Percha close. You know what I'm saying?
Like practice, and again, I think that comes from going to practices and shit, and having our love for sports. Dude, honest to God, like Scott, being younger than me and my friends like Sean. Sean's a 1 year younger, and like Josh and a couple of these other guys like Zach. We would go play sports almost every damn day, and Scott would tag along, and Scott would always be trying to stop me, trying to be on my team or whatever. Like if he was against me, he tried to lock me down. If he was on my team, we would try and dominate. And I mean, I think you get so much from just playing sports. It's just like I said, it's a bond that you just learn. Like going every day when I was coaching for practices and shit, and hanging out and teaching them stuff like that I have learned and was successful with, and helping out moments like that. And then, like again, you have conversations at practice about life with these kids when you're coaching and stuff, and you try and just help with different situations to make these people better human beings.
Yeah,
I think that's kind of what got Scott and I close.
Yeah, absolutely. And one thing's for sure, I definitely want to get both of you guys on, and that way because your podcast, it's growing, and the fact that you guys are, your banter back and forth, especially with March Madness,
funny as fuck, man.
It's hilarious. Because
dude, that's why we gotta get producer Matt back, bro.
Absolutely.
We need you to come back on our podcast for an episode too. Shit's so funny.
I know. I will definitely,
we'll have you come back on for maybe like football or some shit like
dude.
NFL season because I mean you like sports like that and NFL and football is like one of your big things. So like come fall, man, have you come back on because a lot of people ask about you at my work. They're like, what happened to producer? I swear to God, what happened to producer Matt? Everyone's like, producer Matt's pretty damn funny. Where's he at? I'm like, dude. I mean, I was like, dude, I convinced him to start his own podcast, and that shit took off, and now we don't see him as much. I was like, I still see him on trivia nights at the bar, but that's about it.
And now you got your guys probably tuning into my shit. Who knows?
Yeah, no, that's back and forth for sure.
So and what I mean, definitely, doing that would be amazing, but also like talking about your guys' bond and stuff like that.
See, and that's why I like hopping on your show too, because I mean I bring obviously more sports stuff to your show.
Yeah,
but that's what me and Scott talk about all day long on our podcast is sports. So to talk about other stuff, it is entertaining to go in both directions because it was like I said, we have totally different like audiences that we're targeting.
Yes.
And like different things that we're going with it. But you do like to go into the sports world with some of your guys, like the guy who was on the Michigan team. That was cool. Shit like Dominique, who was just talking about sports and shit with the Kelsey brothers conversation, all this stuff like that. Like I like that question, like the dinner sports question.
You like that?
I don't even know who the fuck I would say. Mine would probably be Jordan. It'd probably
Kobe.
Can I bring someone back from the dead?
Yeah, I said alive or dead.
Oh, Kobe and Jordan. Can I get them both?
Oh, shit, she said the Kelsey brothers. So
okay, all right. I'm gonna take two. Those two.
Kobe and Jordan. That would be an interesting conversation.
That'd be sick as hell.
But you might, honestly, if you did that, I think you would be as starstruck as meeting Kelly Rowe.
Yeah. I was, well, my biggest thing, too, me and Kelly, I was drunk. Let's be dead honest, bro. You found me on the third level playing beer pong at they're having a birthday party playing beer pong upstairs, and I just say, hey, gotta play next with whoever. And next thing I know everybody's fucking name and life story. And then Thomas and you come up, you're like, where have you been? I'm like, how long has it fucking been?
Dude, we were
Like,
looking for you for a while.
Dude, you guys said it was at least almost an hour. And I believe it.
Yeah.
I didn't know there was that many floors to that place. And then, like you said, when we met Kelly, I'm like, bro, Matt, leave this poor girl alone. I just thought it was wild that I'm like, holy fuck. I'm like, this is Kelly Rowe from Fox Sports. I'm like, that's kind of wild. Then I was like, I pulled up her Twitter. I'm like, hey, I know. I go up to her. I'm like, this is you, isn't it? And she's like, yeah. I was like, and she's like, oh yeah, you look familiar. I'm like, no, I don't fucking look familiar. I was like, I've tweeted at you, but I've never ever met you. I know for a fact. I was like, nah, no, don't give me that. You look familiar to try and like make me feel good. I was like, nah, bro. And then you come over there like, yeah, man, yeah, this is Rob. I can't do your voice, but I'm just saying, like,
why are you guys so high pitched?
I don't know, but because that's how the night sounded, bro. I was wasted, and then literally, like, I'm just like, please leave Kelly alone, Matt. Please leave Kelly alone. Just leave her alone.
Meanwhile, you just wanted to say hello. Meanwhile,
that's all
I'm like, dog. I'm like, dog, this is a great opportunity for you.
No, and I'm like, man, this is not the time and place. She's out having a good time. She's off the clock. I ain't trying to, like, bother her on her girls.
Well, I was more thinking this is free time kind of thing to where she could do.
No, I feel you on that, but I'm like, I'm sure not everybody recognizes this girl, but I'm like, I don't want to be that person where, like...
In all honesty, I know I didn't, because I was like, who's Kelly Rowe? And you're like... You don't know who Kelly Rowe is? I'm like,
dude,
well, you gonna tell me?
Funny fucking stuff, man. She's good about sports, and then she like.
That's probably why, because I don't have Twitter or X or whatever the hell it's called. But and then
do you know Daniela Bruce?
No.
She's the Red Wings girl. She's always on there with fucking Osgood and all them. And
well, shoot, I probably saw her when I was on the ice.
Iserman. She interviews the players. She does.
I'm pretty sure I ran.
You have 100% seen her on Bally. She's literally on Bally all the time.
Or you remember when this past Saturday when I went on the ice during the Wings game?
Then you probably saw her.
I probably did. In all honesty, I'm pretty sure.
She also does the Tigers too once NHL's done.
I'm pretty sure I walked past her or something like that.
She graduated from the same high school as me. Like, there's so many people that are, like, more famous and shit. It's so funny. Like, she graduated from Anchor Bay. Anthony Misevich, he graduated a year below me. He pitches for the Yankees right now. There's so many, like, people, like Taiwan Jones was a big deal back in school. He went to MSU, played linebacker, went to the Rose Bowl with them. Undrafted free agent for the Jets and shit. It's just funny, like, looking back, and I'm like, dude, because I know them from just high school. I don't know them as this professional human being, so it's kind of funny. This person does this. Like, I was surprised when I didn't know Danielle that long, but I was like, damn, this girl went to Anchor Bay. I know who this person is. It's just wild. So, like, seeing these people tweet at, like, professional people, and then, like, their trolls, and, like, how they respond to trolls, shit cracks me up.
Yeah. But I mean, we can both agree she's one of the nicest people.
Oh, she was super nice from what I remember.
So, for the listeners that are watching and listening that don't know, Rob told his side of the story, and of course he said that he was drunk. I knew that this would be a great opportunity for his podcast, especially. And I just lean into her. I go, Kelly, it's so great to meet you. I said, my buddy Rob here has a podcast with his brother. They do sports. And, of course, Rob goes, Matt, what are you doing? And I go, shut up, Rob. I'm working here. And he goes, leave the poor girl alone. And she goes, no, it's okay. He's being a good friend.
Dude, she was way too nice. I was like, you can tell Matt to shut the fuck up. Honest to God. I was like, I can tell when she's just trying to enjoy herself. I'm like, this is not a work meet. I'm like,
and what ended up happening? She started following your podcast. And
she's really nice. I mean, everything was cool. I didn't reach out or nothing after that. So.
Oh, see, I did.
What?
Yeah.
Man, if you leave the poor girl alone.
No, I want, especially on on my show, I was like, hey, if he don't want you, I'll take you. And she goes, all right, let's make it happen.
Well, that'd be kind of cool for you, too, because, like I said, with her being with the Fox part, like...
And broadcasting,
you
my
did
gosh.
radio, she did that, so that's kind of cool, and she's local from Michigan State, so...
Absolutely.
Yeah, that would actually be pretty sick.
Right, right. So I mean, and she follows me on Instagram now, and so I feel pretty lucky. But I mean, one of the nicest people, and her, you and I, where we were all conversating about sports and stuff like that after the show.
Shit ton about sports.
Oh
too.
my God, yeah.
What the fuck? They brought up stuff that I'm like, okay, most of my buddies don't even know.
Right. So you're just
More
like.
my level.
You were
Which
just
was
like,
more my level. I was like, cool, now we're fucking running. Like, I feel like I have to walk with a lot of people when I come to sports. Because I know too much shit.
right. And
I'm like,
I mean, when
nobody knows.
yeah, while you guys were running, I'm just standing there just watching this all happen.
Yeah, we're talking about fucking minor league players that were hoping to get called up to the Tigers that, like, no one's fucking probably heard of for the most part. And we're talking about, like, Jackson Jobe and Young and guys like this that are well-known draft picks that have made news lately. We're talking about fucking guys that nobody really knows. And I'm like, how the fuck does this chick know all this shit?
Right. And meanwhile, like while all three of you were like talking about it, I'm just nodding my head, just like
Yeah, because then we talked about the fucking free agency and shit so far, and like NFL and stuff, and I was like, dude, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Like, this is how like her work day was, like talking about sports and these situations and interviewing people. Man, I would love to do that shit.
You never know if you become good friends with her, it may happen.
Fuck no, man. I you know what I'd have to do, man? I would have to go like your ESPN route where it's more like a fucking entertainment thing, and I could say whatever the hell I want to do. It would have to be like that, kind of like fuck, man, I can't think of the goddamn.
Oh, Barstool or
Pat. Put me on with Pat.
Yeah, Pat McAfee.
Put me on with Pat McAfee, and I could actually dress like Pat.
Mm-hmm.
I need to work in a place where I can wear just a cutoff.
Right.
Let's go.
That would be your vibe, yes.
Bro, honest to God, if that's what my work attire can be, shorts and a cutoff every day to the Thunderdome, let's go. Shooting hoops.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be sick, man. Honest to God. Pat McAfee or hanging out with, what's the goddamn Barstool guy's name? I can't think of his name.
Oh, Dave Portnoy.
Yeah, Dave. Dude,
oh my goodness, you and Dave would go. Oh my goodness.
David, Big Cat, and all them motherfuckers.
Yeah. Oh, that would be amazing. Time. But Rob, I'm gonna cut it short here. But thank you so much once again for the three-time
anytime, bro.
guest appearance.
Hell yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, check out Perch Points. Rob and Scott post, I believe, weekly, correct?
We try to do weekly. If not weekly, it's about 10 days, almost 2 weeks.
And if you want to, win $50 for the March Madness bracket, where can they find that?
That is on Spotify and or our Facebook page at Perch Points Podcast. You can join the group, and then from there you can go ahead and watch or listen to our NCAA bracket preview. And that one will have the password at the end with the group information and how to win the free $50 if you come in first place. But you got to beat me and Scott. I said that on the podcast. I said, if I win my own shit, I'm taking the money. You got to beat it. You got to beat us. I'm not giving out to second place.
You want to be the man or woman, you got to beat the man.
Beat the best. Let's go.
Yes.
Thanks again for the shout out, Matt. Always good to talk to you.
Absolutely.
And I will see you later.
All right, brother.